stock market report for the week of March 5th. So a couple things that we saw in the market last week was we saw the jobs report come out, and those were both better than expected. We had the federal unemployment and we had the ADP numbers. Both of them came out better than expected, which was a good thing. I think that's what fueled some of the market on Thursday with the ADP report coming out. Friday the market was closed in recognition of Good Friday, but I do think this week on Monday that we will have a pretty good day because the job market did come out. You also do have the stimulus package that the U.S. Congress is looking to pass for infrastructure that should have a positive impact. We did see some of that in the market gains last week, so there was some influence on that. Again, I don't expect anything with that bill to pass. I think there's going to be a lot of going back and forth between the two political parties. So in my opinion, I don't think we're going to see that bill pass at all. I don't think it's going to see the light of day. I think there's still some more negotiations that needs to happen between the two parties, so that should be a non-factor. So let's take a look at the Dow Jones. One of the things that I'm seeing with the Dow is right now we have a pretty high level consolidation. As you can see, last week it pretty much traded within this range. So it looks like there's pretty significant support at, we'll say, 32,982. And then there's pretty significant resistance at about 33,179, we'll say. In my opinion, I think the rest of the week, this week, the week of the 5th, I think we're going to see it pretty much trade within these levels. Again, I'm just not seeing anything really negative that's going to really push it down to break through this support level here. And I don't think I really see anything that's really going to cause us to go up to new highs. I just don't see us going through this resistance. And if it does, we may go up to this pivot level up here at 33,400. But again, if it does go up to here, I think we're going to see pretty significant resistance. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq again, I'm kind of seeing some heavy resistance at 13,333. It looks like we put a high in there, and that's most likely probably an all-time high that we just went over. I don't see us going much higher than that. Again, you may see some rotation back into tech. You did see really the whole month of March pretty much. You saw a rotation out of some of the oversold tech stocks, and a lot of that went into some of the stocks that have really been beaten down with everything that's happened the last year or so. A lot of stocks, you haven't seen any real money go into some of those. Those are things like the airlines, the Boeings. Sure, they've gone up, they've recovered from the March lows of last year, but again, you haven't really seen any significant rotation into those, and we started to see that in the month of March. So I think a lot of people are starting to get nervous. I'm not going to say that there's a bubble with tech, but it's something to watch. So you did see a pretty significant sell-off in March, rotating out of tech into some of the value stocks. But again, this level is something to watch. I mean, we could maybe put in new highs on Monday. It's going to be interesting. I mean, it's likely that we could go up the 13,400. If it goes there, I think we'll probably see a little bit of a pullback or retracement back down to these levels. I'm not saying that 13,500 is not possible because we could very well hit that on Monday. And I say that positively. I think we could possibly hit this level. If it does, again, it's not going to take out these two pivots here. You have a weekly pivot here, and then you have a monthly pivot here. It's most likely not going to go through this. If it does go up to these levels, look for a pullback down to probably either back to where we're at right now, around that 13,300 level, or maybe a half retracement. So let's talk about a couple of the stocks that I'm in right now. Currently, I have a swing trade on AYX. They're analytics-based software company. Um, as you can see, I was in at about 200 shares. My average position is $81.54. I did sell. I did sell out somewhere around 85, 86 when it got up to this level on Thursday. I sold 50 shares. I wanted to lock in some profits, but I like AYX. It's a pretty beaten down stock. Let's pull up the 1 year here. Give me 1 second. Where is it? So as you can see, there's significant support down here at this 177, 179 level. Um, I did take a little bit of heat on here, not too bad. In the early part of the week last week when it did get down to 77 to 05. Again, since I did dump a little bit of my position, my average price was a little bit higher, but I was able to bring it down because I did add on the way down. Um, so I do like this stock. I think earnings is probably about another month away, and this stock usually has a little bit of a gain before they have their earnings report, and they almost always sell off after earnings. Again, it's way oversold. Again, you see the sell off. This is pretty emotional here. Um, so I got in at a good level. Let me go back into the 180 day and kind of just show you how I have my sell orders and my targets. Oops, that's what I want. So you can see I'm looking to dump 50 shares right above this pivot here. I think on Monday, depending on how we open, if we do have a good open, which I fully expect to have a good open on Monday with the jobs report coming out on Friday. Again, the market was closed because of Good Friday, so I do think we will go back through this pivot again. Um, I'm gonna look to sell off 50 shares, and then like I said, I do like this stock. I feel pretty good about it. Um, you can see if it does go through this, I'm looking to sell this at this resistance level around here at $90, and then my final sell will be here at $95. Again, I feel good about it getting back to this 180 day. Like I said, it's pretty overdone. It's pretty emotional, this sell off. So, and again, it's a solid company. They have a good product. So, um, I'm not really concerned about this too much. If it does come back down, if we get down to this level again, I will buy probably another 50 shares or 100 shares if we get down to the 77 level. Again, I don't think we'll get down there because as you can see, let's go to the 2 year on this thing. It has pretty significant support down here. You can see, you know, 179, 177 at this level. You can see buyers typically step in when it gets to that low. I mean, this stock was $185 back in July. And you can just see back in February, we were as high as $139. So overall, I can easily see this stock going back to about $110, $114. If you were to just draw a line, straight across here for the last 2 years, this is probably the average price that this has really been trading at between buyers and sellers. Um, so that's AYX. Another stock that I have a swing trade going on right now is Max. Again, this was a pretty significant sell off from March. The stock reached $70 and it got as low as $33.82. My average position is about 36 bucks. I have not sold. I've added a few times on the way down. I believe my original position was probably around 40 bucks, and then I've done a couple ads on the way down. You can see, there's pretty significant support here. It did dip down to $34. I added right about there, but I'm looking to sell 100. To lock in some profits at 38 to 39 bucks. Then I'm looking to dump another $42 at my second target, and then I'm looking to do my last 100 shares, sell my last lot for about $45, $46. I like this. I like to sell right a few cents before a whole number. Typically, when you have a lot of the big banks and the hedge funds, they usually sell right on the dollar. So I like to add in that extra cents. Sometimes it makes a difference. Sometimes it doesn't. That's just me. You don't have to do that by all means. It's not some special strategy or anything like that. It's kind of like a superstition of mine. Um, but I like Max. I feel good about this. I mean, this, as you can see, this is pretty emotional, and it has really hasn't had any sort of it hasn't had any sort of gap up. So it's pretty oversold. It's pretty overdone. You can see really the only update it's really had was all the way back on March 19th, where it did go up and it immediately sold back down again. So, and if you even zoom in on let's go on some of the earlier time frames here. Um, you can see came down here. We put in a low, and then it started to recover a little bit, and then we put in a higher high, went back up again. Basically took out this resistance level right here, came back down again, put in a higher high, and then took off again, took out all this right here, and now we're currently here. So, it should get back to the 180 day, and then eventually, I feel pretty good about this stock getting the $36, $37, and then on the higher time frame, let's see, 20 day. Again, I can definitely see this doing a quarter retracement from where it sold off in earlier in March. So, um, again, I'm not looking for so crazy gains. Like a good way to approach these things is look for about a quarter retracement when you see. You typically a quarter retracement is pretty much guaranteed when you have a stock that had to sell off this emotional. Um, if you're looking, if you're getting really greedy on this thing and you're looking for $61, you're looking for it to go back up here towards all time highs. Probably not going to happen. Not saying that it won't, but I mean, you could take that strategy, but be prepared to be in this swing trade for it could be 6 months to a year. For me personally, I'm looking to get out of this thing probably under 30 days. But if it doesn't, I'll add more down here. I just put my orders in, and I just let it go. I don't look at it. I don't stress about it. Same with AYX. Um, again, I'm not stressing. Again, I've already locked in some profits, so it may take, it could take a month or two for it to hit $95. Again, I was down on it. It took a little bit of heat. But again, you can see it's starting to have a nice retracement, starting to have a nice recovery. So you can see we hit lows, huge bottoming tail. So again, you can see this is pretty strong support here. A lot of buyers came in and bought, and then went up, came back down, put in a higher high. Really had a nice gap up here, came back down, put in another higher high, and then had a nice retracement up again. And really, this whole time going up, I mean, we basically took out this, we took out this resistance here. We did hit some resistance right here, so this is something to watch. Again, you got two pivots here. Looks like you have the monthly and the weekly pivot. We were able to go through it, but then we immediately sold off and came back down. So on Monday, I'm expecting to retest this level again, and that's going to be the third time because it actually retested here the third time's a charm. So if it can't go through on a third time, if we get rejected again, we could come back down to $82 somewhere around here. So that's AYX. A couple stocks I'm watching is sorry, another swing trade I'm in is Chewy. I like Chewy. Again, this is pretty emotional. They reported earnings, had great earnings. Really, their financials all of last year have been great. Their EPS, their revenue. It's a great stock. If you're not familiar with them, um, they sell items for pets. It's like a pet store. It's like an online pet store. They sell food, toys for dogs, cats. They have stuff for fish, turtles, whatever pets they have, gerbils. So it's they've done pretty well. They do well against Amazon. They have great marketing. They have great technology. I really like them. It's a great stock. They think they were an IPO a couple years ago. They started their IPO, I think, at 30 some dollars. I actually used to own this stock, but it was a while ago. I took profits on it, but again, had a great earnings report. Went all the way up to $93, almost 94 bucks. Sold off. Pretty emotional sell off. No real sort of bounce. I mean, you can see here, it had a little bit of a bounce and had a pretty big sell off on Thursday. So I thought it was a great time to get in. I'm sitting at $82.71. I have tons of room to add. If it does continue to sell off, I need to actually put my buy orders in. I haven't done that yet, so um, I'll probably buy at $78, and then I'll probably do another buy order down here, probably at 74 bucks, right at this pivot here. Um, and again, I could put in a stop loss. I'm not too worried about it. If it goes down to $70, I could be in this thing for a while. But like I said, I like the company. It's a good company. They've had solid earnings reports really for the last year or so. They do well. They compete against Amazon. Obviously, Amazon, if you want to buy dog food and dog treats and dog toys and stuff for cats, you can do that on Amazon. But Chewy's kind of has its own sort of brand experience, and that's why people flock to it. And their pricing is relatively pretty good too. So, um, but anyways, I really like this, and I think why I like it is let's look at the daily on this thing. Um, you can see we had this sell off, and then we came down, put our bottom in here, and then we had a bounce, came up, put in a higher high, came up again, retested, did about a half retracement down, put in another higher high, and then we had this nice bounce up here. We were able to take out all this resistance here, came down, um, didn't put in a higher high, actually put in a higher low, came back up here, got rejected again, and then we sold off. But still, I like this where we put this lower low, this still higher high here, and then this third time, I think that we'll probably be able to cut through this resistance here sometime on Monday. Like I said, I'm I'm pretty positive Chewy's pretty overdone, but let's say we get rejected here and we sell off to $82. Well, I'm okay with adding this stock. I have no issues adding down at, I think I said $78 and then $74. So I have plenty of room to add. I'm not really worried about it. I was actually one point, I think it was down to maybe 75 bucks on Thursday. So you can see it did start to come back a little bit. So, and then I'll show you where I have my sell orders. So my first target here is at $87.55. Again, just going to lose 25 shares, nothing big, just want to lock in some profits. And then my next order up here is at $97.50. That's my target. That's what I'm shooting for. So we'll get there, probably. And where I have it, I think it's at a good position right before this resistance right here. Looks like there's a little bit of resistance here, so we know there's sellers that are hanging out here. So I'm going to sell there. And I do think within probably 30 days it will probably get up to that level. So that's Chewy. So a couple stocks that I'm watching. I like Fubu. Um, they've had a pretty significant sell off in March, like all the technology stocks. So it's pretty overdone. I'm looking to probably pick this one up around 18 bucks. That's where I would like to see it. I don't think it's going to get there because I'm really liking this chart. You can see we put in a lower low here. It looks like we might have hit a bottom here. Came down, had a nice bottoming tail on this bar here. Um, Bounced, came back up, put in a higher low, had another bounce, went a little bit higher, kind of went over this high right here off the last bounce, and now we're looking at another higher high. So I'm definitely thinking it's probably going to come back to this pivot here to the $25 range. And if it gets there, it'll probably see a significant. It'll probably not see. I don't want to say a significant pullback, but I think it could pull back. I mean, it very well could pull back to, all the way down to this level again, $20. But I'm what I'm watching for. I'll probably pick up 100 shares if this thing can get somewhere around $21.50. I'll probably put an order in at 21.50, and then I'm looking really just to probably get up to $24. I'll probably put an order in at $24.90. Just a quick scalp. It may do this on Monday. It may take till Tuesday. So it's very short term trade, but that's a stock I like now. And again, I'm not saying that this thing can't get back up here, but I just don't feel really good about tech right now. Like I said, you're seeing this rotation, and we're not quite sure how it's going to play out yet. And then the last one I like is NIO. It looks like NIO kind of found its bottom at around $34. So if it comes back down to $34 again, somewhere around there, it's definitely a buy for me. I was actually looking to buy it right at $34, right at this level here, $34.70. Had my order in, and then I took it off. Kind of stupid, but oh well. I would have made a nice little profit on this one. But anyways, I like NIO. I'm looking probably for it to come back down to the 20-day here. If I can get it for around $37 and let's say 26 cents, I may pick up 100 shares for a quick trade, a quick scalp up to $42. So that's kind of what I'm watching next week. So let me know what you guys think of the video. If there's anything specific you want me to cover, if there's any stocks you want me to look at, just shoot some comments, add some comments in the comments section. All right, have a good day, guys.